We need to become soft. We need to become open. We need to become yin. And this is where we focus on recovery. Recovery is drawing the energy within us towards itself, to heal itself, to recharge itself, and to rejuvenate itself. So we're going to nourish this, we're going to nurture this with our movements. We're going to nourish this, we're going to nurture this with our breathing movements, right? So not just physical movements, but breathing movements, which we call pranayama. All right, everyone, let's begin by getting into a comfortable position. And let's start with a little bit of breathing to bring us inside. Some gentle movement to get our spine going so that we can feel the internal energy start to wake up for the yin. So I want you to imagine with your hands right now, just creating a circle. And as you create this circle with your hands, as you can see me, I'm just lifting up and down. It's like I'm pulling towards myself and I'm releasing. So toward yourself and away from yourself. Toward yourself, right? Touch your chin, away from yourself. Towards yourself, touch your chin, away from yourself. So you feel this circle. And as you feel the circle, start to breathe into the circle. Inhale up. Exhale out. So you're taking the breath in, and then you're releasing it. Nice and gentle. But as you'll notice, as you continue to breathe like this, it brings your whole body into the movement, because it's a difficult movement to do, to time it with your breath, because the breath is so deep. Draw it towards you. Let it go, like lifting up something very heavy towards yourself, and then releasing it down. And as you do this, lift, look up. As you exhale, look down and float forward. You're creating a circle with your spine. And as you continue to breathe like this and move like this is going to bring us into our forward fold. And this is going to be our first movement. We're going to do this breathing practice for a good 3 minutes. And then we're going to enter into our first forward fold, priming this movement, initiating this movement, lifting up towards yourself, and then exhaling down. And the spine is still elongated, it's still straight, it's still up high, but it's moving through the forward bend and the backward bend gracefully with the breathing. One last minute. You feel the connection with the hands to the body. We talk about this connection all the time. Right? The heart energy, circulation, blood flow all runs through the fingertips. Your brain has a dedicated space for somatosensory to receive information through the fingertips, but also a large area dedicated to move those fingertips. And while breathing, you're connecting this whole system, this whole sensory motor system under your conscious control, which we call in yoga awareness. Beautiful. Last 10, 9, 7, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work, guys. Let's get ourselves in a comfortable position on the floor. Today's practice, you can use a bolster throughout it. That's why we have it here. There are many different bolster shapes, or a block, or a meditation cushion. So if you have it for the opening posture, please use it. If not, don't need it, right? You can use a blanket. You can use many, many things. We're going into cobbler right away today. Nice familiar position. Always know when Alex does an easy posture at the beginning, or a simple one, we're going to be doing all sorts of different things. This is foundational. Cobbler is a foundational posture. The great Inca Empire didn't represent their meditators with cross legs or kneeling, but cobbler pose. One of the few mystics that I've seen use this pose as their power pose of sitting. So slowly climb forward. As we talked about, most people grab the feet, as we discussed earlier. Start to come forward. And as you start to walk the hands slowly forward, what you're doing is slowly relaxing the head, relaxing the shoulders. And again, if you have a bolster or you're sitting on a block, the nice thing about it is it gives a different dimension. You're a little bit up higher, so you're actually able to work all the lines of energy below the hips. And that's what we want to get to in the yin. We want to be in a position where we can just observe ourselves in the posture. And if you can observe the breathing, that's what that means. What I just said there, observing ourselves in the posture, if you can just breathe, just like we did before, right? Notice my hands still cueing that same motion, but now you're doing it internally. We never needed to use the hands. The hands were just a metaphor of movement. So slowly coming down, and as you continue to crawl forward, see if you can get your elbows onto the floor. Because by bringing yourself down onto your elbows, that's the next level. The next level of depth is the elbows. Okay, we have a kitty sighting for all you yoga kitty lovers. You see what yoga does? It attracts the kitties. Okay, so Buffy, you gonna do yoga with us today? Probably. So coming back down, since you were looking at yoga kitty, come back down onto your elbows. And again, just like a cat, which is really interesting, I'll come back so you can see what my hands are doing. I'm pawing, right? And as I paw, I'm just gently, slowly moving the energy in the body. Very soothing, very gentle, very calm. And again, we're doing this. You can still look up because you're still playing, you're still warming up. It's still the first minute in the posture. You're doing this to put all of these vertebrae, as you see in front of you, back in alignment, right? And you're putting them back in alignment like a puzzle. And you're looking internal at this puzzle and trying to get this beautiful stretch, right? Here's the back of the head here, right? So it's curling forward, curling forward, curling forward. And as you can see in a kind of bird's eye view, you can see each and every vertebrae. And that's inside us all. That is universal. So breathing like piano keys up and down the spine. Most of you remember when you were in class, we played a lot of piano, spiritual music, ambient music, but a lot of piano. And I always describe the keys of a piano as being your spine. Right? The fingers are running across your spine. That's the breath, right? You are your own Mozart. You are your own Beethoven. You are your own great composer, right? And as the breath moves, just like that circle, as you go forward and forward, you're going from your hips, from your heart, and into your head. But top bottom, you're going from the head down to the heart, down to the hips. And so as you play the piano of your spine through the breath, that's the inner journey. Now you're going within. And within is when yoga becomes meditation. You're entering into that deeper state, that deeper place. And we do this on a physiological level because yin yoga is here to de-electrify the muscle and go deep, deep, deep into the tendon and the ligaments and stretch the fascia, the deeper muscles, the stuff that's working in the background. So deep breath in, start to sigh it out now for the final minute in the posture. Inhaling through the nose. And if people are around, just very gentle, calmly, but make sure you hear the sound because that A sound is connected to your heart center. And by sighing, not when you're stressed, but when you're actually relaxed, is a medicine movement, right? We've described the apothecary of pranayama. There's all these different breathing techniques we can do in asanas that create physiological effects in the body. And the one we're doing right now is we're resting the heart forward. This is the pearl at the center of the clam. This is the once suffering. Now it's being released in your yin. Nice and calm and gentle. It's your deepest point for the final 30 seconds in the posture. You guys are doing great. Wherever you are in your cobbler, just keep sending yourself deeper and deeper into the pose, like a stone that is falling gently, gently to the bottom of the deepest part of the ocean. Such a long journey, there's no rush. There's no waiting. It's just floating free, endlessly, down, down, down. And this is known as grounding, 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 searching for that earth. We're all in homes. Search through your house and go to the earth, the energy of the earth that supports your whole house, that keeps you safe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly, gently, from your forearms coming up, one arm at a time, walk your hands back nice and slowly, and immediately bring them behind you, nice and easy. Because now we're counter stretching. We're going from forward fold now. I'm going to flip my angle so you can see into a backward bend. See the backward bend? And then start to make circles to open up the hips in a backward bend. Bending at the elbows, leading with the heart. When the heart leads, the mind is always following, because the mind and heart are not separate. The mind depends on the heart. The heart is the powerhouse of your energy. Good. Other directions, spinning in the opposite way, warming up that heart center. For people in core class, we would call this warming up the core. Same thing. The core runs nose to toes. And we access the core by moving from forward fold to backward bend, sometimes different ranges of forward folding, which we call crunches or sit-ups. And then backward bends, of course, two bridges, fish pose, lots of different back bend poses, angel pose. Fantastic, guys, good. So now that we've warmed up the hips, we're gonna lie down, okay? So we're gonna lie down on the ground. I'm gonna show you both from the side and from in front, but I'll show you from in front first. So from in front, take your left hand, and notice that makes an L. Hopefully it does on your end too, right? And take that left leg and cross it over. Okay, just like that, perfect. Once your left leg is crossed over, now take both your hands on your knees and just see if you can open up your legs into an internal rotation, pulling on the knees towards you. And that's why I'll show you from the side. Pulling on the knees towards you as you lay your flying flat on the floor. So laying the spine flat on the floor, start to feel just this internal rotation. We went from external, now we're going to internal. From abduction to adduction, right? Moving and feeling. Moving and feeling. Nice and gentle. Breathing here, feeling here as you draw the knees in towards the chest. Notice how my head is relaxing side to side. Everything feels really good. Excellent, good. I'm going to twist toward you, placing the foot on the floor. Release the leg a little bit more open. So now it's like pigeon pose. Okay? So now you see it from here. So from pigeon pose, look up, grab hold of the thigh or the shin, right? So the thigh would be underneath, or the shin, and then pull in towards you and do the same thing. Nice and gentle, lying down on the ground. I'm going to change positions so you can see from the side. And as we do this, nice and easy, pulling in, just feeling that beautiful energy. This is really good for our backs. Working one side. Good. And now we're going to work the other side. This is our warm-up for our yin posture. Good. Uncross. Take the right leg now. Okay, so the right leg. So the one that doesn't make the L. Cross it over. And once you have it crossed over, you can open your legs up like a V. Grab hold, right, of anywhere that feels right. And then lay your spine on the ground. And just like we do with Happy Baby, you want to get that spine nice and flat on the floor so you can move around and really press into those curves as, again, we work from an internal rotation to an external rotation. So we started with external, we're moving to internal, and then we're finishing with just a little warm up on the external on just one side. Lying down, really good for those vertebrae. Remember we said earlier, right? This is all core, right? You could imagine doing crunches from here, right? This is what we do. And the idea now is not to do that. It's to relax this, to open up the space for that strength to grow. So we grow from internal, right? You're hugging something, and external, opening, letting go. Those are our two ranges of motion. Bring us to our sort of range, our periphery, our maximum. Good. From here, slowly again, bring the foot to the floor. I'm going to change position so we're all the same. And again, just let that heel slide out. Again, look up. You can grab the thigh. Again, my leg is very loose, right? So I have more access to grab maybe even deeper, which is fine. But again, I want to feel an appropriate place. It's all about the lying down though. It's not so much what you're doing here. It's how comfortable you are when you're back here, right? Is your butt sticking up and you can't get it on the floor? Well, try with your heel. Try pressing out the leg. Try moving it around, right? This is our warm-up. And as you can see, this is going to open us up, right? Just like our cobbler pose, but a little different. This is a reclined pigeon pose. Again, external rotation of the hip. As we start opening up the hips, the energy will slowly move upward towards the heart. Good, fantastic. Release the legs onto the floor, crisscross, side to side, looking left and right in opposite directions. Feel that connection through the spine. This has been your first twist, so you're going to feel all those hip openers now rising up within yourself. All those hip openers are now rising up, upward towards the head and the heart, right? Looking opposite ways, right? Of course, you can look the same way, but you get the maximum stretch when you go in the opposite way. I'm just keeping my focus and attention on you guys, allowing the energy to flow and roll it out on the ground. Good. Today is going to be, again, interesting. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Does everyone have a bolster? Does someone not have a bolster? If not, that's totally cool, because this posture can be done both ways. So if you don't have a bolster, it's not a problem. But if you do have a bolster, you can do it with the bolster. So we'll show. Today we're going to do bridge pose. Okay, and so when we do bridge pose, now we're going to push the hips up. We're going to get into a low back bend. We're not doing it for very long, just a short yin, good 3 minute. But you're going to press through the heels of the feet. As you press through the heels of the feet, you can reach for your feet, right? And you can lift up, and just as easy as that. Again, for someone with a bolster, you might want to try for a little bit of time. And if you get tired, right, you can always, and then spread the legs open so you're getting the exact same stretch. But today we're doing it with strength. Okay, so we're going to do it by holding this posture in bridge. There's many ways to do bridge. Some people do it like this. They put their hands underneath. So I like the heels because I focus on my hips being up. So focusing on hips being up, relax my head, good feet placement, and just close my eyes and breathe. And now you're charging up the hips. So this is the first time we're charging up the hips. We did a yin to open the hips. We did some warm up to continue to open those hips. Now that the hips are open, we're charging up. I want you to imagine that all that energy you're pushing up. Why is Alex making us do this? All that energy is pouring into your heart and into your head. So if you imagine the spine, if you're watching the screen, all this energy is now pouring up into you. All the emotion, all the earth, all the roots are being uprooted and being poured into the heart like a basin. So imagine the spine, what it's doing. For some of you, you might want to walk your shoulder blades a little bit together. Keep pushing upward as you bring the shoulder blades together. Keep pushing the hips up. So the hips go up, 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 up. As long as the hips keep going up, the energy keeps flowing through you. This is the hard part though. This is the yin. Good, breathing here. Feeling here. Try and resist the urge to go up on the heels. Try and just keep everything grounded and just focus on pushing the hips up. 30 more seconds, you're doing great. Trust me, the reward is great. The next posture is gonna feel brand new to all of you. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie, especially when you link it with this. It's like a mega loop, it's beautiful. 10, 9, push those hips up, feel those heels on the ground, let those glutes burn up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, guys. Let those hips come down to the floor and do whatever calls you. Remember our 1 minute respite in our yin to do anything we want. Knees side to side, cobbler, or nothing. Like me, I just like to rest. I just like to feel the experience in my body. I get very internal during my practice. So let that energy dissipate, let it flow, let it go. Move it around or just let it move through you. Good, guys. 30 more seconds to enjoy all your little micro movements. You worked really, really hard in that posture right off the beginning. As promised, the reward will be great. Good, beautiful work, guys. Again, slowly taking the knees, if you don't have them already, just move around a little bit all together so we all end up in the same place during our transitions. Good, and now from here what we want to do is lift up, and level 1 is grab the ankles. Again, now we're doing cobbler, but now we're doing it from lying back. Really nice pose. Okay, so we're all going to start here for 1 minute, and each minute I'll progress for a full 3 minutes. Imagine Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man pose. Right? This is the superhero pose. Right? But it's standing. In Spider-Man's case, it would be upside down. But this is the pose. Power pose. Stirrup. You want to breathe into your lower back. Relax the head side to side, right? Let those hips open up, right? This is a powerful posture. No matter how flexible you are, this posture is perfect. And if you're doing this posture for the whole 3 minutes, fantastic. Breathing into those parts of the spine that just want to be released, that want to be put back into place by relaxing your muscles, by de-electrifying them, by putting your loving awareness onto them and relaxing them. As you relax them, you're going in for another 2 minutes. For those who want to advance, you might start with 1 leg or go to 2. Right? And what pose is this? We know what this pose is. Happy baby, right? Drive those knees in towards the ground, right? Everything is nice and perfect. It's the alignment as the knees come down, the tailbone comes down, elongating the spine, open it up, right? My arms are straight and I'm pulling from my scapula, and then once it's locked in, I don't have to pull anymore. I'm just kind of holding. My attention is in my fingers. All right, so just gently breathing again, laying that spine flat, loosen it up when you need to, go back to stirrup if you need to, right? We're working this whole area all together. This is the journey of yin. We can't do it in a fast way. We can't get this stretching in core class because we don't have the time to do it. We're always moving in and out. But in yin class, it's the opposite. And that's the beauty of it. Once you do both, you have the answer. You're working both ends of the spectrum. You're playing the white keys and the black keys on the piano. You're making music. You're making yoga. Yoga is as real as you're real. My yoga is my yoga. Your yoga is your yoga. We share that. That's the beauty of it. It's universal. Good. Staying here if you're happy here for the final minute. Level 3, you know what to do. Straighten the legs and keep working for that same tailbone onto the floor. Right? So you straighten the legs. You might want to move around a little bit. Again, this is more for the core yogis who have already stretched today. Right? All those forward folds. Right? Put them to use now. For the yin yogis, if you try this and you're like, oh, too much, it's okay. Come back, right? We haven't stretched hamstrings yet. So stay here. This is perfect. Or come back here. Give yourself that permission. As you see me even teaching, I go in and out. I just don't say it. I do it because it all feels good. I want to check in. It's like, is that right? Should people do this or can they do this too? This feels amazing. You can sit here for 10 minutes. Here for 5 minutes. Here, 3 minutes. But for most of us who are doing it maybe for the first time, you're feeling it, right? This is what most people feel, maybe in a different position. So holding here, feeling here, 30 more seconds, guys, you got it. To finalize this beautiful variation of happy baby or stirrup. Always relax the head in yin. Head has to be relaxed. You're searching for that state of meditation while in the pose. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly transition all the way through. And again, be still or 1 full minute to move around. Good, beautiful, guys. Let's all meet again in a comfortable seated position. Again, lots of ways to get up there. If you'd like to rock, just tuck your chin, hold on to your knees, keep your arms straight. I always like doing this. But when I first started rocking, I didn't like it. I was whipping my head back. It wasn't a good feeling. So always tuck your chin. Once you feel the chin tuck and locking of the arms, it feels great. But if you're doing like this kind of stuff, it can get a little painful if you're not very conscious. Excellent job, guys. Okay, we're coming back up to our original position where we started from, our cobbler. But now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to crisscross again. And why we're crisscrossing again is because we're going to bring one energy on top of the other energy, left over right, right over left. It's great for the brain because that's exactly what the brain does. So when you're doing this, simultaneously your brain always crisscrossing it, then what happens is it's like a superpose. And we actually call this one not just shoelace, but if you wrap it one more time, it's eagles. So we're actually gonna get a little taste of that today for some of you. Okay, perfect. So just windshield wiper the knees side to side. Let it flow, let it go. Good, and from sitting position, you're gonna take the left leg and you're gonna cross it over top of the right, just from here. And then you're gonna extend your leg out and maybe out to the side and see, as you can see my foot underneath, I'll try and get it more centered, right? Some of you are gonna stay here, that's it. For others, you're gonna be able to slip it underneath. Okay, so it's a rock, a rock, a rock, a rock, a rock, and then you slip it underneath. If you're trying to slip underneath, you're like, ugh, that's good. Maybe move your leg around, right? Adjust it. Try and see if you can slip it underneath. Because once you can slip it underneath, then you can play around. Right? So you're working on just slipping underneath. If you're working on it and you're still here, that's great. So whether we're here or here, we're just focusing on a little bit of movement to see where we're at. If you get the lock, just maybe move around and just feel where your body's at. We'll recheck on it later. Good. Now staying here, remember what we said. You're gonna lean over. So this is my left side. I'm moving over to the right side. And as I move over to the right side, now I'm slowly gonna bring this leg in. And as I do that, I'm coming forward simultaneously, right? So the ability to bring that crisscross, that into the legs, moving forward, right? Starting here, right? But again, you can always go backward. It's very easy. And then just slowly start to come. If you can only get one and you're working with one, that's great. Try and bring those hips together. This is the aerial look of it, right? You can come all the way up, right? It's just crisscrossing the legs fully, and that creates that very yogic leg position. Once you have it locked in, you feel good, start to fold forward again. And as you fold forward again, just like before, walk your hands. And again, just like a cat, right? Nice and slow, right? Right? Just like a cat, stalking, right? Just nice and low. And again, as you go more forward, you're working at getting your elbows down, right? Bring those elbows to the floor. Maybe just one elbow, maybe the other elbow. But as you fall down like a falling leaf, deeper and deeper and deeper, you'll find where you feel good. So for teaching, it's not good for me to be down here because I'm talking to the floor. But if I was doing the class, I would be down on my forearms. I'm teaching the class, so I'm actually going to back off and teach from here. I'm still getting the stretch, but now I'm able to see and I'm able to talk, right? And talk you through the posture. And that's stimulating for the mind, bringing consciousness into the posture, the knowledge of yoga. So it's starting to breathe now, right? Notice my hands again. That same energy as I told you, that's what we're repeating. Same energy as we did before. Inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up, exhale forward. And that energy starts to spiral inward within yourself, round and round. It never touches the same place twice. You're never in the posture in the same place twice ever. Ever. Right? And that's the joy of doing something again and again, over and over. And we've been prepping this one for some time now, a couple weeks. I'm glad everyone's still showing up. I know these yin classes can be hard, but remember, you always have permission to stop, right? You can come out, you can adjust, you can take some time. But if you can keep sinking like a stone, you're discovering the yin. The yin is sending you deeper and higher into yourself. Deeper and higher into yourself. Each inhale, each exhale, right? Each inhale, higher. Each exhale, deeper, right? And if you think like a yogi, right, your yoga becomes very good, right? Very good yoga. And that's the difference between an intermediate practitioner and an advanced practitioner. That's the difference. That's it. It's not what it looks like to the eye. It's not whether you're in this posture. It's are you in this posture and able to breathe like this. Higher on the inhale, deeper on the exhale. What I love about this posture is that as you breathe, you really feel how the breath on the inhale lifts you up from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. Because you're internally rotating, you can feel the prana moving up the spine from the base all the way up to the crown. And then again, as you exhale, you go more forward because everything is starting to relax. You're caressing it with the breath. Right, downward, downward, downward towards the ground. And that crisscross in the leg gives you extra amplification, extra feeling. We call this strong sensation. A lot of you guys are like, this is a lot. Don't worry, 30 seconds, that's it. You got this. It's abnormal to hold this position for so long, but that being said, that's what makes this extraordinary, because the benefits you will get from 3 to 5 minutes of internal stretching, and we've done already more than that in this class, is exemplary. When it comes to your own practice, you'll see a huge difference in your stretching and your flexibility with internal rotation. Good, guys. 10. Slowly starting to come up off those elbows. 9. Nice and gentle. 8. 7. Starting to move upward. Hands on knees. 6. Letting that tailbone touch the floor. Feel the comfort of being able just to hold the position upright. 5. 4, 3, extra challenge for some of you. Stretch your arms up. 2, stretch them back behind you. See if you can touch your hands. Stretch your arms straight. And 1, arms come behind you. Move over to the right side. Let it go. Return back to cobbler. Take a full minute in cobbler exploring. Be a scientist now. I put you in cobbler at the beginning. You had a good 3 to 5 minutes in it. We repeated its form in Happy Baby, which is a variation. Remember stirrup? Remember I was saying to you guys, like stirrup. And now just exploring it, playing it, because we're going to cross the other way and then we're going to come back again. I keep wanting you to experience what this area feels like with deep hip opening stretching. It's radical. All health is mental health. This healthy area that we're creating is going to create this healthy area. The energy is going to move from the hips up through the heart, up into the head. And that's the goal. That's the yin way. The yang way, right? Or vice versa, because they're constantly moving within the other. Clockwise and counterclockwise, upwards and downwards. Awesome, guys. We're going to do the same thing now, other side, crisscrossing, right? So now this time we're going to take the not left, right, which we call right, right? And we're going to take that side, we're going to cross it over, right? Cross it over. So my hip, as you can see, is very much off the ground, right? And again, I don't want to do this because this is called square pose. We've done that. This is shoelace, right? So the ability to bring this heel back and now to bring this leg forward and more forward and more forward. I know already some of you have done this with me on Sundays when we used to do Soulful Sundays, gentle yoga. Remember, it's better to start back here and get it than it is to try and do it up here because there's too much weight up here. It's hard to get this position. So start back here, work your legs, slide from the left side to the right side. Remember, right leg's on top. And then eventually start to sit up. Remember, it is safe to do this, just your body will tell you if you can. Right? So go within the limits of your body. There's no reason it has to look like this. Remember, you can do the whole posture like this with one hand behind you. You can fight someone with one hand behind your back. Permission. Right? So same thing. You can take this posture with one hand behind your back. Feels great. But if you can do both, it just adds more weight. And as we said, start to come forward, nice and gentle. And as you start to come gentle, remember your focus is on taking this hip, right? This big pelvic area and just wrapping all the muscle around it and giving it massive amounts of energy, internal energy. So everything is contracting. What I want you to understand is energetically in this posture, what you're feeling, a strong sensation is my finger is moving across the pelvic. See, it's gripping. All the muscle is gripping and pulling it inward. So good for your hips. As good as external. We just do external a lot more than internal. And again, picking that position to find your yin, to sink into it. Remember, be still. Stillness is anything but still. So always give yourself permission to come out, come back in, do tiny movements, but like a falling leaf becomes a floating stone. Both are images of activity, but one is just slightly more active than the other. The floating leaf, intermediate level, right? Not focusing on the breath, right? Trying to get it through movement. The more advanced level, you get that same movement of the leaf, but through the breath, which makes it the stone, right? You're just floating downward into yourself, no matter what asana we're doing. And so now we're diving into that internal rotation while forward folding. For those who are the core yogis, you're going to be really, again, pleasantly surprised at how releasing this is for all the stress and energy you put yourself through earlier today. This is a great way to unwind those hips, relax those hip flexors and psoas, right? You can feel it going all the way up into your solar plex. Remember to breathe all the way in through the nose, all the way out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the mouth, out through the mouth, in through the mouth, out through the nose, and pick the one that works for you, right? It's your job to be still. That takes effort. The effort should be dedicated onto your movement, and then it should be dedicated onto your breathing movement, which we call pranayama. So it goes from asana to pranayama. And the more you can make this connection, the more you'll advance in your own practice from intermediate to advanced. And that credential is given each and every class because this is what makes you a yogi, one who practices yoga. So practice well, my fellow yogis. Dive deeper. Less than a minute left. You're doing fantastic. Good. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, being that stone, being that falling leaf, being yourself, deeper and deeper, experiencing, knowing what yin is through your own experience. 5, 4, 3, 2, and again, coming off the elbows, nice and slowly, take your time. The leaf falls downward, the leaf also falls upward, right? The snowflake comes down, the snowflake can also come up, right? Gentle. You're still a snowflake, you're still a leaf. And if you're a stone, you're still a stone. As said many times before, yoga, this particular type of yoga, makes you feel about 50 years older than your natural age. So, it's the ligaments, it's the tendons, it's like I showed you before, it's all that wrapping of the energy. Good, slowly coming back again, right? Not onto the right side, but on the left side, because that releases it. Let it go right into cobbler. And now you have a full minute again to explore your cobbler. Any way you want. With your hands on the ground, right? Any way you want, but just stay in the open hips now. Because I'm giving you a unique experience of almost playing yoga patty cake, right? We go in, we go out. It's a beautiful sensation, especially through yin, because we do it a few times. We flip, we cook, we flip, we cook, right? And then the last little to let it, just like the feathers, fully release. Good. Now that you've explored your cobbler, say thank you, to where you feel right now. This is your new normal, right? You've created it. Now it's your new normal. And you can feel how comfortable it is compared to where we started. Well done, everyone. The next posture we're going to do is we're actually going to put some weight on these joints now, right? We internally rotate them, we externally rotate, we lied on our back, we fixed our spine while internally, externally rotating them. And now we're going to put some weight onto them, which is really good for our joints. Again, If you have a bolster, feel free to use it. You're gonna take your bolster and you're gonna bring it behind you, right? So for those squatting, remember the hardest thing with squatting is getting those heels on the ground. Okay, so once we get the heels on the ground, we're good. But I want everyone, if you do have a bolster, to start on a bolster. It's actually a really good thing to really try and crush that bolster, get into that squat. Again, it can be anything, right? You can rearrange. It's not a perfect way of doing this. It's just one way. And again, I really picked this off of surfing or snowboarding, right? This ability to hold this angle, hold this edge, right? It's like a boat, right? Like a surfboard, right? You're holding the edge. You're on the front side. We call toe side, right? And as we sit in that toe side, start to walk your elbows out and sort of open up your knees like in cobbler, and then you can kind of bring them together and then open them up, and you'll notice there's a place which will feel really good, right? It might be here, right? It might be here, but you'll feel a place that feels really good, and that's what you're looking for. Remember, your heels are on the bolster. If it's uncomfortable, remember, you can always get off. But again, it's just a nice feeling to put some weight in the joint. Remember, I said some weight. We don't want to put all the weight because we've done a lot of stretching. But now you can really feel those hips, right? Look, very similar to position as happy baby or stirrup, right? I just changed it again. That's the creativity of this. So we're doing, again, the same posture. We've actually been doing the same thing all class, just different variations. So again, just coming into a beautiful squat. Mine's more opened up. I might change it one more time just to come up a little closer so I can see everyone. Nice, and just holding that posture. Right, feeling my way into it. Now I'm the floating leaf, right? I'm trying to get my breathing going. Right, moving still. I'm less yang, but I'm still not yin. I'm still trying to get there. Right, you see that hand movement again. This is my cue. It's just how I do it. It's how I always induce the state. Right, I do this a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, I remember. And then all I have to do is just tumble inward toward myself. Find that stillness. Feel that inner movement, not the outer one. Feel the inner one, but you'll never know the inward one unless you come from the outward. That's why yoga is not do this, not that. It's come from one, be invited from one to the other. It's both. Just one is deeper, higher. Inhale, higher. Exhale, deeper. And again, for many of us, this is a beautiful position to take because, again, it's very relaxing for the body because we have the bolster behind us. It supports us, you know, we feel that support. Good, we have less than a minute. You're doing fantastic. And no, we're going right into forward fold. So you're just gonna pop up and forward fold. It's gonna feel great. Cueing you for your mind. Some of you like that. Some of you are like, yes, only a minute to go. Others like, why did he tell me? Right? The mind is funny. Breathing, feeling. If you're breathing, you're not hearing anything. It's all connected. The word, the breath, everything flows, everything goes. Strong sensation you're getting now, last 30 seconds. That's what we call loading the joints, right? Gravity flowing through your joints. This gets rid of arthritis. This cleans that. The bones need to break down to build up. It's really important for your bones. It helps grow your back. It helps release you from being held back, right? It's very liberating. 10, feel it, really enjoy it. Notice where you are. 8, you know where we're going. 6, last few sighs, some 3, 2, now when you're ready, 1, Just slowly from here, lean forward, kick the bolster out from underneath you, and just allow yourself to come into a forward fold. It should feel a little hard at first and then very comfortable. So we're going right into that forward fold. Legs straight, as you can see, hips up in the air, head down, and just stretch. If you're feeling any sort of lightheadedness, that energy is being dissipated again by this energy, because you're always making it flow. The fastest moving water is the cleanest, right? Keep that circulation, internal circulation going. Breathing. And see if you can grab hold of your elbows and literally the weight of your shoulders, the weight of your arms, bringing you down, down, down towards the ground. Oh, imagine each and every vertebrae. If you can do a little glimpse to the camera, imagine this roller coaster you're taking right now. Right? Remember, all the way down towards the head. As promised, the energy is going from the hips to the heart, all the way down to the head. So let it flow, let it go. One more minute here, guys. Doing great. Hips lift as head drops down. See if you can get those legs straight. Rock the energy from the heels to the toes and find that place of immense stillness. Just holding those elbows and letting everything dangle down, down, down towards the ground. Beautiful. 10. Slow breathing, deep breathing. 9. Starting to bring some movement to the hips. 8. 7. The arms, maybe releasing them now towards the floor, towards the feet. 3, 2, very close to the floor as you want to go. Let yourself come down any way you want and straight onto your back, no stopping. All the way down to the floor for Shavasana. So the head now has all this fresh blood, and as promised, we took the energy from the hips, from the heart to the head, and now we're going to let it return back to the body in what we call in yoga as equilibrium. This beauty of homeostasis, we say in science, full integration, where the body is simply at rest. So allowing yourself to relax on the floor first, relax the head, right? Relax the shoulders, relax the glutes, which relax the hips and sort of the chest, right? Firing those glutes, releasing them. Knees, toes, right? Just let everything sort of shake it out. And again, you are the leaf, right? Start as being the leaf, floating from the tree, nice and gentle. Right, little bit of movement, nice and light as a feather, light as a leaf. And then eventually, once you connect the breathing to the movement, which in this movement it's the easiest of all of them, This is how we sleep for 8 hours. It's a form of this, right? Whether it's the side, I think it's a form of Shavasana. The idea here now is to become the stone, right? Solid, fully within oneself, pratyahara. My voice is like the lighting, it's like the heating, it's just a part of your experience. But the central channel, the central vessel is yourself. All that floats through you. My voice coming through your ears, but your eyes are closed now. Right? So what else are you experiencing in the room, and can you draw all that sensation inward towards your heart center? Because remember, the head has been filled with blood, filled with circulation from being in the dangle. And now, being restored back to the body. We picked it up top to bottom. Bottom to top. We let it go top to bottom. Deep breath in and sigh it out. Sighing it out, and the sigh just happens to you. You're actually surprised how the breath just continues as you just exhaust yourself, as you let it go, as you exhale. It's exhilarating. Beautiful feeling of that momentum of resting, of grounding. From your home, through the house, to the earth. From the earth back to your heart. That's the connection of power. That's the connection to peace. Be settled. Be with your breath. Gently, slowly, starting to rock your head side to side. Start to open up your arms out to the sides of the room or above you. 5-pointed star stretch, and as you do this, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Let that lower back lower down on the ground. Remember our beautiful bridge pose we did today to power up. Almost forgot about that, right? Probably feeling it in the hips a little bit. Let it go. Right? Don't hesitate to lift those hips and revisit that power. Once you've done this position for 3 minutes, you crave to do it again. It really does an amazing job. Bring a lot of power to the body. Good. Awesome. Allow it to flow. Let it go. Rest, rest, rest. Move, move, move. Comfortable way. And slowly, with helping hands, come up to a comfortable seated position. And of course, whether you're sitting cross-legged or in cobbler, your hips are going to feel really good here. So really position that tailbone down on the ground and let it tap the floor a few times. Right, whether you're sitting like this or like on the floor, doesn't matter, just feel grounded. Once you have that grounding through the hips, bring your hands together and just like starting a fire, let's move some heat into our spine. From the top all the way down to the bottom. All right, let that energy flow through you. And let that energy flow through you. And this connection is your own, like we talked about earlier in class. the somatosensory system, right? Our motor system, right? A lot, like the homunculus is dedicated to these sense organs, right? The sensations we get from our hands are very powerful. That's why we like to hold hands and give high fives. When we do this, we're actually creating a magic, a voodoo, an internal massage energetically. Because if you close your eyes and visualize one of the areas, for me right now, it's my heart. I can get in there. If I close my eyes, I can actually break up what is in there by putting my full focus and imagining that energy in that area like this. Right? Feel. 10. Doing great, guys. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and at 1, just release the hands, let it open up. Natural energy, right? You can twinkle the fingers like stars. And feel that starlight that you are. All your elements. Everything that you see, are, and be, right? Biologically, your disposition, your cognition, right? Your culture. Everything that makes up you, internal and external, conscious and unconscious. And with this prayer, let's do one Om as we slowly bring the hands together to make it true and so. Deep breath in. Om. Shanti, Shanti, peace, peace, peace in our hearts, in our lives, in everything that we see, are, and be. The divine in me sees the divine in you, in love, with love, through love. Thank you everyone for coming out today. Namaste.
Namaste, Alex.